Is it recording? Yeah.
It's recording.
It's recording, yep.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know where it's going.
Can you send it to your Zoom link? Have you got a choice to send it to your Zoom account?
Yeah, I know there's a way of doing it, but like I said, I'm not familiar. There's a way to do it on the cloud, but I don't know on the phone. I'm not familiar with it.
Okay.
Where's it going? Who knows? If it's going on my phone, it won't be that long. Anyway, here we are, guys. Another Saturday Night Live Zoom. We had some last-minute changes here as Rana's father's in town for a couple of days.
It's my fault.
It's her fault.
No.
So
We're just not organized. I'm sorry.
yeah, I completely forgot my computer. With everything going on with my mom and stuff and everything else. And anyway, here we are. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Today's what? March
Good, I'm good.
So, what's everybody up to? I can't see who's on here.
Diane's there, but I think, Diane, you might have had some questions or something, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I did. Well, actually, yeah, Ranjit, first of all, I know you'd said something about I love eyes or something like that. And you said you'd talk about your experience because I'm having experience with my eyes. So I would appreciate hearing what you're talking about.
Yeah, sure. Look, I'm actually a 1 year anniversary since I started fasting, because this time last year I finished my first water fast I ever did. And then I found MFS. But I actually remember after that water fast, because I've worn glasses all my life, and I recognised after that water fast that all of a sudden I was reading the newspaper for my dad and I didn't need my glasses. And so I went into MFS and I found my eyes actually improve even further, where I could actually see in the dark. But what happened, the eyes changed colour too, because I noticed in the first, like towards the end of the 108 days, at the middle part, they went from like a deep brown to like a hazel colour, and they're already going back to hazel now. But when I broke my fast, and like probably 8 weeks or 2 months, like when breaking, I found my eyes started to go blurry again, especially going back into the MFS, those first couple of weeks. They were really blurry and they actually were quite sore. And I'm not always ever concerned with it, because I know that, you know, they'll work itself out. And then and I noticed a little glaze over my eyes. And anyway, so I did some of those eye exercises. I think Gino put them up. And what else did I do? I just sort of, and after a while my eyes were fine. They're not blurry anymore, and they're not, they seem to be going back to how it was when I was fasting. But I never needed to wear my glasses though. I still found that my vision was still okay. But I remember going in, you know, from breaking going into MFS, they got really, really blurry, like probably blurriest I've ever had. And but I don't know about what you were saying about you might have glaucoma or something like that. I haven't experienced that, and I haven't got my eyes tested either. But my eyes at the moment seem to be quite amazing right now, just by being in the fast. And I think I'm nearly 6 weeks into the fast, so yeah, they've been good. But I don't know if I've helped or not. But Gino would know a lot about it, because a lot of people have had different eye stuff going on.
Well, let me just say what just generally what's going on. I don't wear glasses. Like I'm nearsighted in one eye, farsighted in the other. That's just how I was born, blah, blah, blah. I've had a couple of checkups, one every 5 or 6 years, and my eye pressure's been a teeny bit up. And then last time the specialist that I saw said, oh, I better, you know, I'm concerned about your pressure. It's still within normal limits. And I think mine runs like that. But when I looked into glaucoma, it's all about the ocular nerve being bugged and pressure building up. I'm thinking, obviously, I'm obstructed. So, you know, I'm thinking, yeah. And then, but Ranjit, what you did help me, because you said going into the fast, it was kind of, it's blurry and it feels like there's a net or a web or something weird. That's what's bugging me. I'm thinking, did I forget or am I, what's happening here? Because I've done 4 40s in the last 18 months. I did a 30 off for a couple of weeks. Now I'm doing a 30, but I had a cantaloupe yesterday. So I'm gradually going off it. So hopefully, and I'll be doing hybrid right now because I've got this other issue too. But yeah, that's it for the eyes. And I'll talk about my heart palpitations later, but now I'll hear what Gino has to say about eyes.
Same as everything else.
Yeah.
Anywhere there's pressure, guess what? There's obstructions. So, you know, liver is usually connected with the eyes, and the eyes themselves, the capillaries and everything, they're very, very small, microscopic. So it's very easy to build up pressure when there's obstruction in those areas. But you got to remember, as we say, every time you go on a long MFS, a long fast, you're going to start peeling the layers away and all the weaknesses will come to the surface. Most people interpret these things as getting worse because they don't have an understanding or clue of how the body works and how it repairs and how it cleanses and repairs itself and regenerates. It's a matter of patience, persistence, consistency, and allow it to do what it needs to do and remove the mind from it and stay away from specialist doctors and all those things. Or, you know, you choose to go down those paths. It's up to you. But I understand that trying to put a time frame on how the body can regenerate and heal and all that, we don't have that understanding, and we don't need to have it. The intellect wants to know all this stuff and dissect things and some microscopes and tests, but that's where the spiral out to confusion comes in when you start going into all that stuff. When you start going inwards and spiraling inwards and connecting with source, and embracing and trusting in soul, which is connected to source, everything starts to unfold the way it's supposed to unfold. And eyes, we've had many people get rid of their glasses and so on and so forth. Sometimes you'll feel like it's getting worse. Like in the situation for me, I had perfect eyesight, and I think I've shared my story. And I was doing the high fat, and I was doing the sun gazing while I was doing the high fat keto raw vegan stunt I pulled for almost 3 years. And I had lost my nearsighted vision while I was doing the sun gazing. I can't remember how many minutes I was up to, probably somewhere in the 30s if I remember. Completely lost it. In one session, bang, my eyes went blurry. And, you know, we can, lo and behold, everybody say, sun gazing destroyed your eyes. No, the sun gazing didn't destroy my eyes. It was the high fat that I was doing that destroyed my eyes. And anyway, once I got off all that and went back to what I knew, started cleansing and so on and so forth, my eyesight started restoring itself slowly and surely. It hasn't gotten back to where it was, but I can read now, you know, okay, not great, but I can read without glasses, whereas before it was just all blurry. So I just got to keep digging and keep going deeper and deeper and allow the process to unfold and take place. You know, there's also emotions into play. What are we trying to avoid to see? That's the number one question you got to ask yourself. Or, you know, if people have problems with their ears, what are we avoiding to listen to? Or, you know, the throat, what are we avoiding to speak about, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We always have to go back to the emotion. Like the physical stuff is the easy stuff. And that's not the problem. It's always going to go back to emotion. So, you know, going back to myself, what I was going through that time with my eyesight and so on and so forth. There was a lot of stuff going on in my life at that time, and a lot of things that I didn't want to see. And you know, these things pan out. Emotion is seed, and emotion is creation. So whatever we put our intent and emotion, consciously or subconsciously, is what's going to come out in the matter realm and manifest itself. So if it was me, Diane, keep you know, put your head down, stay focused, and just work with the eyes, support them, like I was mentioning, doing the eye washes and taking some of the tincture internal, do some castor oil packs on the liver. Just support the body as you're going through this time. You know, when we're on the fast is when we, you know, load up on the tinctures. But once we start eating stuff, we do them sporadically here and there. You can continue doing the eye washes. There's the eye exercises. I think I put a link on the video if I remember. Doing eye exercises daily. You got to do these daily. The eye washes, eye exercises daily, and continue to work on that, and continue to go within and ask yourself, what are you trying to avoid to see that's in your life right now. I know you also have your caregiver and so on and so forth, and but I've mentioned this before about myself. The weakness I have is seeing my mother in pain, so I try and take on the pain myself in some absurd way, that the way we use our minds. But there's so much stuff attached to that, and we have to come to terms of what it is. If we're going to go down the doctor route and look at everything as mechanical, forget about restoration and regeneration. It doesn't happen in that realm. So we have to make the choice of what we want, where we want to go, which way, which direction. But a lot of people even using the Bates method, or Bates, for he had the method for helping people restore eyesight. I can't remember if it was Bates or Gates, the person's name.
Bates.
Gates, yeah. So
Bates.
yeah,
The B.
yeah. There's many things you can do. Eye exercises will really help, because as you know, when we're saying when you're fasting, you got to keep moving. We want all the energy channels to continuously flow, and no difference with the eyes. We want to keep energy moving through them. So doing exercise daily, even twice a day, 3 times a day, will help keep energy moving in that area, as well as working on the liver and everything else as we do. We can't just work on one thing. It's not the ways of regeneration. You have to work on the totality, meaning the physical, mental, emotional body. And we can't work on one. We have to work on all of them all the time, and work with that, and continuously go into meditation and or prayer, and connect with source, and see where we can allow these obstructions in the different levels to open up and start moving, so the body can regenerate itself in all levels and all forms. Doesn't matter if it's the eyes or the finger or the liver or whatever. It's all connected. It's all connected, and just keep working with it. It gets frustrating for some people that don't have the understanding that, you know, things start to surface, and it's not fun going through some of these times. It's very challenging sometimes, some of these healing reactions. But once you know, you've been through so many of them, and you've seen so many people go through so many hurdles that everybody says is impossible, you just put your full trust in the process, because there's nobody else you need to trust except your soul. That's the key. That's where it all, you know, that's where we all come from in this realm. The soul created this physicality, and let it unfold. Let it do what it needs to do. It's all done in autopilot. We don't need to know who, what, where, when, why, how. This is the intellect, and this is how mainstream science works. They have to dissect everything and, you know, use their tests and microscopes and so on and so forth to find how everything works, which they don't have a clue, because they're looking in a small window in matter state, and the matter state is the effects of what's going on in the other realm of the plasmatic side. And the plasmatic side is where everything is actually happening, and in this state we're seeing all the effects of it. So by trying to figure it out the other way around, good luck. I haven't seen anybody do it yet. So let's just put the trust in what we know. We know what to do. We know that when we fast, the body goes in, starts cleansing and regenerating itself in that autopilot mode. That's all we need to know. The who, what, where, when, why, how. I can't help you there. And myself, like, you know, being in this field like almost 30 years now, all the stuff about minerals, vitamins, amino acids, like, it's kind of gone out of my mind, out of my memory. People ask me some stuff and I go blank sometimes, because I don't even want to go into that anymore. I don't even want to think about that stuff. It just, because the revelation of what with this new understanding is that stuff is just going to put you into more and more confusion focusing on that stuff. So let it go. And that's what I've pretty much done. And we keep it in a very, very simple mode, right? Just trust and work through your healing reactions and support yourself, your emotions especially, because that's the real key. And continue on the path. Do you have any challenges with anything else in the head area, Diane?
No, I don't think so. I mean, my my head's the thing that's always been my, you know, if my head's been a bit full, but I mean, since I've been doing the master fast over 18 months, it's pretty well drained. Like, it's good.
Okay, excellent.
I do have a lot of dental work, and I know that's part of my, you know, it's there.
You have root canals?
I have 2 root canals.
Have you tested them with muscle testing?
No. I know about muscle testing. I got a friend who I can go see someone actually in a few days.
Myself, I'll do everything possible to try and save a tooth, even if it had a root canal. I don't have any myself, but I'm just saying I wouldn't just go pull out root canals. I would test the teeth, and if they're testing weak, and that on one particular tooth, I would try and do things to work with that area, massage the gums daily, maybe get some ozone injected around the area, and see that. If you can't, you know, move the energy and allow yourself to test stronger on that tooth after 3-4 months of working on it, then I would think about maybe removing it, because what's happening sometimes is there's a lot of infection and stuff happening in the bottom and crap, and people can't feel it because they remove the nerve, right? They kill the nerve, whatever they do, and all this stuff's going on. So, you know, if you look at the Chinese meridian charts of teeth, you'll see where each tooth is connected. So
yeah,
look at the 2 teeth, that the root canals, and look at the chart and see if any of them are connected to the eyes.
oh, yeah, I'll do that. I have a chart because for sure. But also I hate to say this, but I also have 2 implants I got 2 implants too.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
How about
are
mercury?
they any mercury amalgam?
No, that went eons ago.
Okay. Are these implants, what are they? Titanium?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No. It was, at one time I had all my stuff done by a holistic dentist, and everything was muscle tested, and my replacements were really good. But since then, whatever.
Yeah. But you said, you know, at the start of the conversation, you said you were born with one eye farsight, one eye nearsight. So you already had some obstructive challenges at birth, right? So
I guess,
These
yeah.
are your parents or your grandparents. Do they have challenges with their eyes?
I don't. Well, no, I mean, my mom never wore glasses. I mean, they both died. My dad, he had glaucoma. And his mom had cataracts and glaucoma. So yeah, a little bit along my dad's side, maybe. I don't know about my mom's
Okay, well,
side.
yeah, you got your parents, grandparents, great grandparents, et cetera, et cetera. Like we all get influence from our ancestors. But anyway, just keep working at it and you do the eye wash.
Oh, where'd you go? Hello?
I think he froze.
Uh-oh. Maybe that's it.
Okay, Ranjit, you have the floor.
Oh, no, he's back. Are you back
Is he
there,
back?
Gina?
Oh
Can you hear me?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you just freeze frame for a while.
Oh, okay. The internet connection. So, what did I say?
Oh,
No.
about the eye and genetics and yeah. But I got one more thing to say though. This is about my heart because this is the main reason. This is my eye is nothing, but then when I'm in my fear mode, I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm gonna have a heart attack and I'm going blind. That's the other end. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I've had heart palpitations since for 30 years, off and on.
Wow.
Yeah, and didn't really bug me until as I'm getting older, as I'm getting more obstructed. I had a couple of episodes where it actually I've been to emergency twice in 15 years because I think I went into atrial fib, which isn't because I'm an emergency room nurse, right? So I know that stuff, so it scares me. So with doing the fast, my weekly dries that I've been doing, I'm finally figuring out that in the past when I had heart palpitations that bug me, I think most of the time I was doing a fast of some kind. I've done fast cleanses for 30 years, but I never attributed my heart palpitations to when I was cleansing. But this is really interesting if it's true. My last dry, my dries I do 36 hours. It's just my weekly dries. It's just easier just going through the extra night and the next morning. But the last 2 or 3 times, that's when I've had my heart palpitations. And if I did an enema right away, they'd go away. So I'm thinking, hey, I think I'm onto something here. And I just was curious on who else had their heart, because I mean, that's, like you said, the dry days when things are really pulling out. And those herbs are fucking strong. Like they must be strong. Because I'm just envisioning my dry days is when my body's just doing all this work. And obviously it's irritating my heart. And I know that, here's my anatomy. The vagus nerve has its little nerves all in the intestines, goes up to the heart and then to the head. And I'm thinking, oh my God, it's bugged. Like it's bugging my heart. But I tell you, it's still scary when my heart is doing that thing. And I'm not kidding. When I have the enema and it's gone, it's really cool. But in between the dries, my heart's good. Like it's good.
Yeah.
So I just wondered if it would help me. Oh, and then your story too. Sorry, Gino, your story. You said you had a lot of heart palpitations in the past. I'm wondering if yours coincided with heavy cleaning as well.
Of course. I had palpitations and I even had a little murmur, which my dad had. And it all ended up going away eventually. But I noticed that if you're ever, your body's ever, your environment has chemicals or anything, or you ingest anything through foods, air, water, that could re-trigger these feelings. But when you're fasting, the weaknesses come to the surface, and the feelings are the same as when you experience these symptoms when your heart gets weaker, or whatever they want to call it. But it's when you're fasting and you're experiencing these, you have to understand that the body is doing work in that area. And like I mentioned before, no matter what it is, when you get whatever healing reaction, do an enema, emotional, physical, whatever, enema, because the body is pulling at obstructions from whatever area, and we want them out as quickly as we can. And if you, just like the teeth have points that go to all the parts of the body, organs and glands, so does the colon, right?
Yeah.
So the GI tract is the root of the physicality, the cause of all the root. So we were focusing on cleaning that GI tract, right? And as we're fasting, which the body gets into the elimination mode, it starts loosening up things, and then you want to get them out. So how do we pull them out quicker? We wash. And by pulling through the colon, we're pulling at all the other areas simultaneously, right? That's why the enemas, colonics are so powerful. When you're fasting, when you're eating, okay, they're just going to move out, backed up food and stuff, but you're not getting into the cellular and regeneration like we do when we're fasting. It's a completely different ballgame. You can be doing the colonics every day of your life. If you're never fasting, you're not going to get much. You're not going to get much happening in far healing. Maybe a little more than somebody who never does them and eats the same. But, the key is the fasting. Always the fasting. So the other key is, what can we do to assist the body while we're fasting? The only thing we can do is help wash out the obstructions that have been loosened up. That's all we can do. And the herbs do their miraculous things of keeping the energetic energies flowing in the emotional, mental, and physical. They work on all three planes. First, emotional. The herbs work first emotionally. Most people would think they're physical, but no. These are very highly elevated beings. They work on emotions directly from source. That's why they're here, to assist us. And that's why we use them, and why we love them. So we continuously use their assistance, and they're amazing. So just anytime you have any reactions, whatever, extra enemas, colonics, whatever you use, just do more of them. Like you said, the heart palpitations go away as soon as you do an enema. How miraculous is that? It's no mystery. Let's keep things simple. Let's keep them simple. The body starts moving out obstructions when you're fasting because it's in elimination mode, and we want to wash them out. And once they get washed out, the symptoms usually subside, because it's as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. The way I see things and the way I understand them about fasting. I haven't seen anybody else out there understand this except Arnold Ehret. The book's been out there for 100 years, but I haven't seen anybody come to the understanding of what he wrote in that book. I haven't seen it. V = P take away O. All that book is summed up in that formula, which is the art of subtraction. And that's what we're doing, right? We're mastering the art of subtraction, living this lifestyle. And it's not going to happen in 1 or 2 or 3 years. It's going to take decades for most of us, right? To live this lifestyle and master it. Because why? Because look at the society we're living in. It revolves around food, pain, misery, and suffering. And we're trying to do the opposite in this realm with what's happening. So we take things, one day at a time. We can only work with what we have right now, in the now, because that's the only time there really is. And embrace all that comes to you, Diane. No matter what it is, embrace it. Thank the Lord. Thank God that these things are coming to the surface, and your body is regenerating itself. Just thank it. Thank it over and over and over, because that's what's happening. Look at all the people that have done MFSs, especially the longer ones, the magic that's unfolded with people. And some of them went back to their old ways, but that's okay, because the magic that unfolded, that would never be forgotten by these people, because some of them come back 1 or 2 years later. We see that all the time, because that memory of what they went through it's impossible to forget that experience. The choices to not live that lifestyle is a different story, and why they go back to their old ways is a whole nother story. We're talking about emotion and environments and so on and so forth. And that's why we all have challenges. We're all dealing with this stuff. So we have to come to terms and realize that if it is to be, it's up to me. And always look in the mirror of truth. Why isn't it being? Why am I not making it happen? And if we're not going down that road, and slowly and surely we start recognizing as the answers come out and surface in plain sight, we start understanding more and more of why and who, what, where, when, and all the things of what we're experiencing. You start seeing it. Oh, okay, this is what I went through in those years, and I had some challenges with this person, that person, or whatever. I had this trauma, blah, blah. It all starts coming to the surface, and you start recognizing and connecting the dots of why these things are in your life, because it's all emotional. And Wednesday, I was talking about the biggest factor I see out there with all of us is we don't have a good, clear connection with Source, a daily, clear connection with Source, with God, whether through its meditation, through prayer. And that's what's missing in this realm, in this planet. And if people don't want to argue that, they can argue all they want. Look what's happening out there. People are killing each other left, right, and center, treating animals like shit, treating plants and the earth itself like crap, treating the oceans and rivers and streams like crap. There's nothing godly about the way humans are treating all this stuff. But we can't focus on that, but we have to recognize that it's all happening, and we must be the change we want to see, and focus on the beauty, and then realize that it's up to us to bring that back and be in that beautiful state again. So many things to consider, but it's always the same answers, no matter what people call it. Medical terminology has enslaved us. The names of all these types of diseases and all that, yes, they see it in a microscope or the blood test or x-rays or this and that, and that's all they know. They don't have any clue of who, what, where, when, why, but all they do is they're just reading what these symptoms have produced in the physical body. And how far are you going to go with that? You destroy a joint, they replace a joint. Oh, as good as new. No, not quite, but anyway, they don't feel any more pain because all the nerves endings are all gone and everything from that area. But everything can be regenerated. It's just a matter of are you willing to do whatever it takes, no matter what, no matter how long it may take. And that's a question that not many would answer yes to, as what we've seen. And I've been at this, like I said, almost 3 decades, and the few of the few will live this type of lifestyle. They'll come up with all the excuses and reasons why they can't do it. The main factor is the emotion and the environments that they live in are not conducive to live the lifestyle. And it's very, very, very difficult for a lot of people to continually, they look at it as a resistance of being in that situation, trying to live this lifestyle. Whereas we should look at it as a wonderful opportunity that we can put ourselves in that state at any time and live it and love it and start being the change we want to see. So there's many ways of looking at things, but for some reason it's easier to be pulled down into the misery, pain, and suffering as all your fellow brothers and sisters and co-workers, etc., and family members are in. But this is the reality of the thing that we have to come to terms when we're talking about regeneration. It happens at all levels. So that's about sums it up for what I had in mind there. But go back to when you started Master Fasting and look at recognize what changes you went through physically, mentally, emotionally in this period that you've been dwelling in this type of lifestyle. And you will see a lot of little magical things that have happened to yourself, because it's impossible that it doesn't happen when you're living this lifestyle. It's automatic. It's going to happen. When you do these things, you move out obstructions, the magic unfolds. It's not like the way we like to see it sometimes, but we don't have to understand the order of things, and that's the I like to call the Luciferic intellect in us wants to dissect everything, and I have not seen the intellect help us in any way in healing. Let's put it that way. In 3 decades, I have not seen the intellect help us in any way. It's only made things more complex and more confusing. Every time I went to the intellect, went down that road. So embrace.
I just want to
You
say
know?
one more thing about this heart thing. What was really neat, I just realized that yesterday was when I had these palpitations, and I'm thinking, oh God, and doing my enema. My Kalima board I have now too, which is really good. But today I went for a really nice hike in White Rock here. It's beautiful out there. I'm looking out my window. And White Rock's on a hill. So I did a 5-mile hike, came up the hill at a really good pace. My heart was so good. That's when you know it's not my heart. Like my heart was saying, thank you for the cleanse yesterday. Like it was amazing, really. Like you
Answers
said, look,
are in plain sight, Diane.
yeah,
Pay attention.
yeah,
Don't let. I know what you've been through all that training, and that's the thing that's giving you the resistance. Is the training, the programming. It's in all of us, and it's impossible to completely let it go. But what we can do is put it aside and say, okay, I know I've trained, I know all that stuff, but I'm going down this path of trust. You can stay there, monkey mind, and I'm going to tie you up for a little bit because I'm going to go down the path of trust, and that's that's where we go. The answers are in plain sight. As you've shared with us, it's very, very clear what's happening. Very clear.
yeah,
As the body starts cleaning those areas, these palpitations and stuff start showing up because there's still much work to be done. And how long is it going to be, Diane? I don't know. Just keep going. That's what I could suggest. Keep going, because once we get upper in the decades of years of age, it takes more time and effort to clean the body because we have more obstructions. But it's not that it's not possible. It just takes a little more effort, a bit more time. The old saying, the time frame out there was natural healing. For every year you've had whatever issue, you need at least 1 month to help reverse it and fix it. I don't know if I can hold true to that. This is looking at things in a scientific way kind of thing. I just say allow it to happen whatever time it takes and embrace it. I know the cleanup time is quicker than the building up obstruction time for sure. But how long? I don't know. It could be different for everybody because we're talking about emotions and stuff. So it's amazing when like you've done that hike 5 miles and so on and so forth, and no challenges. You get on a drive fast, and you start feeling these things happening again, these palpitations and so on and so forth. I've had like for years I had the challenge with the heart, and even now if I go too much into certain foods and stuff, I may feel a little bit in that area, some tightness and so on and so forth when I'm in fasted out. And then, you get on a few days fast, clear out the bowels, boom, it's gone. But it's nowhere near what it used to be. Like sometimes it would feel like the heart's jumping out of his chest, you know, skipping beats and all kinds of weird things, and so on and so forth. But the heart murmur never returned, which was pretty amazing. These are just weaknesses, what they call in the tissues, the connective tissues, and so on and so forth. And what they refer to as weaknesses, I refer to as obstructions in these areas. There's obstructions in those areas, and yeah, the heart, for example, because it's obstructed, it's not performing as it should. So it's in its weakened state because it's overworking because of the obstructions that are in it, or with the liver or the kidneys or whatever. So it's always going to go back to the obstructiveness of the physicality, the mental and the emotional bodies. And we want to open up the channels and flow and let them flow so we can resolve these obstructive energies and restore the proper function of these organs and glands and so on and so forth. So embrace. You're doing great. I don't see anything that I have any concerns for myself, Diane. You know, when you start paying more attention and recognize what's happening, you will jump for joy when these things come, because you're getting a step closer to freeing up all the obstructions that are causing all these challenges in that area, right? So that's really what I would be focusing on. And one day you're going to be doing some dry fasts and nothing's going to happen. And then you may do a few more dry fasts and nothing's going to happen. And then maybe you do another dry fast and maybe you may have another thing coming to the surface. It's really interesting when you start stripping into the layers, because it might be in a few different layers and not consecutive layers sometimes. This is a whole different way of looking at things. Where, oh, I thought I solved that problem. No, you didn't. It's got the other subsequent layers where it's you know, those obstructions are being hidden. So you just have to deep digger to get to those other layers. And then you embrace that time too, right?
Makes sense. I'm digging. I keep digging. I'm just slowing down a little bit right now. That's all.
Yeah, that's fine. It's great. Everybody goes at their own pace. But you see, what I try and put things to make it as simple as possible for us to gain the new understanding, because going down the other route of the intellect, man, good luck. Good luck. Hasn't helped me one iota. It's always gotten me in trouble. Trying to figure things out, blah, blah, blah. Like we understand, you know, all the blood work and light field, dark field microscopy and all that stuff. Like we really understand it. Okay, whatever, sure. Yeah.
I like the game of ignorance, Gina, because you know, when you're in the soul, you don't know anything, right? You really don't know nothing. And then you bring it in.
It's a beautiful place to be, Ranji. Yeah. We don't need to know anything. What for?
I know. Can I tell you something really exciting happened to me yesterday? You know, I'm always happy and positive. It was my husband and I wedding anniversary yesterday, right? So 17 years. And normally we'd go out, like, and celebrate and everything like that. You go out for dinner, do this and that, and drink and be merry, and you know, it's all good. But I'm fasting, so I can only have grape juice, right? And my husband was so supportive. He was just amazing. And I've tapped into at the moment about the energies of love, joy, and how that nourishes the soul and feeds you. So I'm really tapped into that type of energy at the moment. So we went for a walk on the beach, did all that, even though it was raining, and it was just so beautiful. And then we come back home, and all afternoon and into the evening, just played love songs. We just played love songs. That's all we did. I was just so pumped. I was absolutely so pumped of energy. And because the old world told me that, you know, I got chronic anemia and I couldn't dance for hours and hours and hours, right? Which is all lies and it's all bullshit, and I don't believe it. And here I am, just on grape juice and just, we just love. So it's amazing, like when you have it. But the funny thing was, an emotion did come up, and the emotion was got hunger, and I haven't had any hunger. But normally we would celebrate our love through going to a restaurant, and I wasn't doing that. So you really have to use the abundance of energy that you've got around you, like nature, this and that feeds you, and tap into that. And then your focus is completely gone. So that world of matter is nothing. Like there's not even stuff there available for you to even really, you can only enjoy a limited life. But when you tap into the soul and you tap into those other energies, it is just unlimited on what you can utilize to feed yourself. Like go out in nature and lie on the dirt naked, you're going to get fed more from that than you are going to focus on something that, I've got some womb pain that comes up every now and then, but I don't focus on it. Like I just go, oh, it's just healing. And then I tapped into the womb and go, what's going on there? And then I got this feeling of this spiral. The womb actually spirals out, not this way, but it actually spirals out. I'm thinking, what does that mean? I don't know what it means. I just go, well, that sounds pretty cool. I think I like that feeling. And, there's all these things that happen that you go, well, I always flip things, as you know. So if something pops up, I always flip it to something that's much more enjoyable. But I wanted to add something with those feelings of love, giving, sharing, and how that feeds you. It literally feeds you. And how we've all in the past acts of kindness, like you do something generous to someone, and not only does it make you feel good, but it makes all the other people feel good around you. You know what I mean? It lifts up the energy. And there's a few things that have really stuck in my mind that I've done in the past where God said to me, do this, do that, give that person this, and you do it, and it makes you feel good, but it actually makes you feel good for years. It feeds you for years. So I tapped into that thing about random acts of kindness. Like, why does it affect and feed you and uplift you so much? And if you do it from the soul and you do it from God, or, you tapped into that source, it actually ignites it even more so. So then I've actually tapped into, like I call it the cookie jar, all these good things that you've done in your life. You just try and tap into that cookie jar. And I was thinking about some of the things that God told me to do as random acts of kindness, and I've tapped into that, and then I'm actually living that energy that I did maybe 10, 20 years ago or whatever it was now. So it's really like it feeds the soul so much that this is beyond like this second round of fasting is deep shit, I tell you. It really is deep stuff, because like who knew that joy, you can feed off joy, literally feel the energy and feed off that plasma of joy. Like who knew that? I didn't know that. I knew joy felt good. I knew dancing felt good. So that's what I wanted to say, is that like if things come up, people message me or they talk to me or ring me and they talk about these diseases or whatever they have. I don't even know what it means. I don't know. Like someone put up something about the C word. I completely forgot about the C word. The CANSCO. I didn't even know. I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's right. People, they are caught in that entrapment of the world and the matter of the world, and I feel for them. My heart goes out to them, but you can't get them out. There's no way in the world you can get them off that mindset and that paradigm and those lies they've been told and all that sort of stuff until they actually tap into the soul, like what you said, Gina. If you're not tapping into source, I think it makes the journey a little bit more challenging. The quicker you tap into the soul, like, as you know, everyone else here knows, I never came to do MFS for health reasons, right? It was always about the awareness. It was always about that, because I just know that, the awareness and God sorts everything out eventually. Everything, all your relationships, everything, anything in the world that's going on, it sorts it out. And I said, and I was speaking to my parents yesterday, because I'm deliberately not seeing them, but I'll see them next week. And I'm talking to them and, they're moaning, complaining about whatever they're complaining. But I just poured love over the phone. I just put my energy into the phone. I just poured the love, go, yes, 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 that's right, yes, yes, you know, complain, oh, okay, you know. And then I flipped the conversation. Isn't that great that's happened? Because, you know, now you can look at it a different way and, you know. And so it's just, you know, it's really interesting, this life. It's just so beautiful, and you just got to tap into the beauty of it somehow. And environment is, you are right, an environment is a massive, massive, massive factor for people, and you got to change everything. You know, you got to change the life that you want so you can serve people better. Because if you don't change you and, you know, things around you, then it's going to be
Nothing's
more.
going to change.
Nothing's going to change, yeah. No, I just wanted to put that out there. Having a really good
Awesome.
time. Yeah, loving it. And, yeah, enjoying. I think I don't know where I am, 6 weeks or something. And love my dry days as always. I just have so much of a blast on my dry days. Things just dump out and I go, great, see you later. And whatever alien comes out. And I go, yeah, see ya. And, yeah. Keep moving. You actually feel your body change so much. You actually see suddenly, like you wake up the next morning, you go, how soft can your skin get? Like, really? You know, can it really go baby soft? I'm thinking my skin's so soft. It's just amazing.
I'm nothing. Yeah.
I love you, Rana. How are you?
Good, sweetheart.
There's-
I'm good. Miss you guys.
There's that video I sent. That guru talking about his was it great grandmother? Yeah. If you guys seen it, it was he talked about she lived like 100 and something teen years old, and she would barely eat. Every time they gave her food, she would be feeding all the insects and that birds and all that, right, and ants. And everybody would tell her, if you don't eat, you're gonna die. And everybody that told her that all died. And she kept living and living and living because she was living up the plasma love always flowing. She was getting that joy watching all her beautiful animal friends eat. That was what she lived on. That's the plasma love always flowing. She didn't have to know the intricacies of it. She was doing it. You know, so that's why I share that, because that's a wonderful example of what we can feed on all kinds of different wonderful energies. That's just one example, but there's so much. It's limitless where we can tap into these energies. Like just being on these calls, you know, I get high sometimes.
Mhm.
You know, just feeding out. You know, it's so. So, the food is always going to bring you down. I don't care what food it is. Some will bring you more than others, but it's always going to bring you steps down. Always. So we understand that diets, okay, they will only get you so far. We're talking about getting into the realm of source. You know, that's what we're talking about. And is it going to happen overnight? No way. It's everything worth doing. You know, it's worth putting a lot of effort in. So we make it a lifestyle. We commit to it. We trust, and we keep going. No matter what people are saying, we keep going. You know, no matter how doom and gloom people make it sound like, you know, we're killing ourselves, we keep going because we have the new understanding, and it's just a matter of a process and time that everything is going to, you know, clean itself out and regenerate and start building again. How long is it going to take? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can slow down the pace or speed it up to you know, dry fasting as fast as you can go, but everybody's gonna have to go at their own paces, and the key is that you have to find a pace where you're gonna love it. If you're complaining and dreading fasting, then you're not doing it properly. You need to love it. You need to love even the healing reactions. You need to love the healing reactions because it's part of the process. That's what's missing out there. No matter how much we talk about it, it's what's missing. Like, who is it? Sid posted the post of that 140-year-old yogi, whether he's whatever, and he's skin and bones, and everybody's making these horrific comments. I'm going, where am I? Is this the MasterFast page? I couldn't believe my eyes when I was reading. I couldn't believe it. I go, the new understanding, it's not getting through to people. That's for sure. So I'll keep doing what I'm doing for the few of the few of the few.
Because
Because
that's what you say, Gina. You got to live it. You got to live it, love it. You got to live it. You got to have the understanding. Yeah.
exactly, you got to go through the experiences. People are judging left, right, and center, and that ain't going to bring any regeneration in anybody. I don't care how much fasting you do. If you have that judgment of the physicality like that, you're in for a big surprise. Good luck. That's why you see people falling off the wagons, because their emotions are so out of whack. They're into the vanity of things and physicality of things instead of connecting with source and soul, and let the physical stuff take care of itself when it's ready and time is due. That you've reached a level of removing the obstruction so the body can fix itself. But I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but that guy made it 140 years. There's, what we let's put it this way: we don't even really know what is a normal body supposed to look like. We don't know. We don't know. There's generations of people eating, cooked foods and all kinds of stuff, and we don't know what we're supposed to look like. So it's anybody's guess, but I do know that you don't need to be skin and bones. That there's many breatharians out there that are not skin and bones. And if somebody is, there's stuff going on that emotionally there's maybe not some balances happen, or they are in such a place of bliss and connection with source that they're really not paying any attention at all to the physicality, and they're just coming back in once in a while to pop in to see what's happening. They're gone again. So there's no reason to judge. There's absolutely no reason to judge, because you're not in the person's shoes to understand what's going on. And it was interesting, to say the least, to see some of those comments. But hey, we're all learning and so on and so forth. I'm down to 40%, so we're gonna have to end the call soon, and I'm gonna get back to the family here. But is there anything else anybody else wants to share before we sign off, or my battery gets killed here?
Well, I'm up for staying on if anybody else still wants to talk after the recording's done. I'm not sure if that's possible.
If it shuts all off, you guys could go back on and reconnect, but no recording or anything.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm up for getting. Yeah.
When I end it, it may shut it down. I don't know.
Okay.
But like I said, it's set up like you guys were on before me getting on, so it'll work if you reconnect again, I believe.
Just a word about fear, because everyone always get these messages about I've got fear. You know how last week I said to you in my drawer I had no fear? I actually do have one fear. My fear is that if I'm not with that presence 24/7, that's my biggest fear. To be in that as much as I possibly can, because once you're in that, you don't need anything else. Is he gone? Hello?
Am I still here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
I
you
can
are.
hear you. Oh, there you
Oh,
are.
no.
Then you're gone.
It's still recording.
Yeah, it is.
Geez, I'm not used to the phone app because I haven't used it in so long.
That's all right, Gino.
Sorry about that, guys.
No,
But,
no.
how do I get back now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, no, I can't, I don't know where,
Oh, there you are. You're just
Oh,
on a picture.
That's his beardless face.
Yeah.
how do I get back on now? Let me see here. Back to meeting. Here it is.
Oh, there's Inga. Hello, Inga. There's a lot of people on here, Gino. Do you know?
Yeah, I just noticed there's a whole bunch of people.
We're having a party.
Excellent.
Party.
You know, we're here. We've been doing these now for what, 3.5 years on around, and it's a joy to see people really come through a massive transformation and metamorphosis. It's just awesome. And like we said, it's the few of the few of the few that actually will commit. Most people come through MFS as an event, like a stunt or whatever, and then they're back to their old ways. But we have the understanding that there's so much more when you live it and love it, actually live the lifestyle. Like I said many times, fasting is the thing that is the reason why I'm still here, for sure, no doubt. It's always, reset me and brought me back when I did stupid things and, almost killed myself a few times. But fasting. And I hope that the information gets out, that people will start gaining the new understanding on the power of fasting and what's capable of happening when you live a fasting lifestyle. It's just awesome and amazing that the things that can transform. So with that said, I'm going to let everybody go. And it's been a blast. I would love to stay more, but Rana's dad came in short notice, and it's only here till tomorrow. So we want to spend some time, and we'll see you guys on the page and next week. And hopefully we'll see more people join the Zoom calls, because the Zoom calls is wonderful because of the interactions we're getting. We can talk to each other and see each other, and it's just awesome. The Facebook, it's only me talking, everybody's typing. It's not the same, but hey, it's also another tool to connect with people. But the Zoom, I really like the Zoom. The platform works really well, and it's just like we're sitting in the living room together,
Yeah.
And it's just awesome to connect with each member. And I thank you all.
Thank you, Gina.
Yeah, thank you, Gino. That was great.
Thank you, Gino. Thanks, Rana. Enjoy your
Thanks,
afternoon.
Gino.
Thank you.
Enjoy the
Yeah, you're
family.
All right, John. Nice to see you, brother.
Yeah, I love you
Much
guys. You
love to all
too.
you guys. And
See you next week.
Hey, Inga.
Hi.
See you guys. Sorry, I got to let you go, but I got to get back.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Let's
I'll be
keep
back.
that platform going, guys. Okay, I'm going to end the meeting, so we'll see ya. Hopefully, I got a recording somewhere. Ciao. I'm going to leave the meeting.
Are we still here?
We're still here. It seems to still be recording.
Looks
Yeah,
like
that's a bad thing.
Yeah. I got a message saying that David Edmond was host right now.
Lisa, is that you?
It is me, yeah.
How are you? It's John.
Hey, John. Let's just figure out how we can get this off recording, maybe. David, is there any way that you see anything about how to stop recording on your end? Maybe you can't hear. Okay, did he leave?
What is it? I don't know. So don't go near it
Hmm.
like that.
I'm trying to stop the recording. It's not working.
It's okay. Well, I'm actually gonna
Oh.
switch off. A little chat with
Okay.
Ranjit. I need the energy, but I love you, Lise. Hope everything's going good.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll talk again soon.
Yes, peace.
Love you. Hi, Inga.
All right. I'm actually gonna say goodnight because if I can't get this recording off, I'm not gonna talk too much. David, are you there?
Why?
David?
Whoa, this is so cool. There's nothing in there.
David, can you try to quit and come back? Oh well. It's not working. So I'm gonna say goodnight to everybody.
Good night. Okay. Good night. I'll see you next week.
This is
Bye everybody.
Bye.